Hello, everyone. We're talking hands today. And no, not jazz hands and not palmistry. We're talking scientific hand analysis. My guest today is Jayne Sanders. She is also the purpose whisperer. Hello, Jayne. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
We're talking to you in Denver, correct?
That's right. Denver, Colorado. Beautiful Denver, Colorado.
Oh, we're here to talk about hands today. I read your book twice. It's really wonderful. It's a story of
Thank
your
you.
life and about how you discovered scientific hand analysis. Can
hmm
you tell us a little bit about the beginnings of that? Did you just stumble across these theories one day?
No, I was in a pretty desperate search for my purpose. That's how I found scientific hand analysis. I'm, past corporate, three different careers, MBA, all that, but was
Yeah.
never. In each career I would hit a wall of unfulfillment and boredom, and knew I was supposed to be doing something else, but I just couldn't figure it out. And for me, anyway, career coaches couldn't help. I read all the books, took all the assessments. I was still stuck. I worked for an international graphic design firm and was head of sales and marketing. Um, and my third career, I was a professional speaker, and that one lasted longer. And I realized later, after I got my hand analysis, it lasted longer because it was closer to purpose. But
Ah,
even still, I hit that same wall of knowing I was supposed to be doing something else, but I couldn't figure it out. And I did feel that what I was missing was the articulation of my purpose. I believe everybody has their own innate purpose. So I was looking for purpose and Googling, how do I find my life purpose? And that's how I ran across scientific hand analysis and was very skeptical at first. I saw the words hand analysis and immediately went to palm reading. And I was like, that's not going to give me what I want. It'll be fun, maybe helpful in some ways, but it's not going to tell me what I need. And then I saw the word scientific. So I was able to put aside my anal MBA skepticism. I listened to the teleseminar that I saw advertised on Google or mentioned, whatever. And it really was credible, made a lot of sense, and I really wanted my purpose. So I got a hand analysis done. Holy moly, changed my life.
and how did it change your life?
It answered questions, Michelle, I didn't even know I had. It was like, oh my God, no wonder everything made sense. It was like, no wonder that worked in my life, but no wonder that didn't. And no wonder I liked that, but I didn't like that. And all these patterns I could see. Um, I did not know immediately what work I wanted to do to express my purpose, but I knew the purpose and all the other information was accurate. I just knew it was correct. It resonated.
Because as I recall, because you give samples of your own hand and the lines in your own hands throughout the book. And, it said you were an independent thinker. It said you were creative. It said you were a leader and a speaker and a teacher and a healer. And, geez, I've run out of
Boy,
fingers.
you did read it twice. um, yeah, so, but here's the thing, the purpose that you get from hand analysis, number one, is more specific and comprehensive than any other way you can get purpose, and accurate, so accurate that Forbes wrote about it. And two, it's not a job description. That would be crazy. Um, Everybody has options of how to live and how to express their purpose. We all have options. So um, my job then was to figure out how to apply my purpose to my work.
Yes, and the scientific aspect is interesting as well. That was what really sold you. And from what I understand, the founder had done research on 30,000
That's
pounds
right.
and somehow discovered that what's in your hand, the whorls and the lines, is very similar to what's in your brain. That sounds so hard to believe.
The lines in your hands actually mimic the neural pathways in your brain. So, therapists are getting involved and have been for quite a while, neurosurgeons, neurologists. The accuracy is just jaw dropping. So, yeah, the lines in your hands mimic the neural pathways in your brain. The gentleman did analyze over 30,000 hands. That's more subjects than any FDA approved drug out there. And he put this database together over a 40-year period. So, oh my goodness.
What's his name again?
Richard Unger.
Richard Unger,
And
yes.
he wrote a book about most of it, not all of it. It's called Life Prints. And the foreword to that book was written by a neurosurgeon from Stanford
Wow.
who was using the information with his patients. So it's very reliable, very robust, quite a comprehensive system.
You've seen thousands of clients. In fact, you're a master in
Mhm.
the modality.
Yep.
Um, can you tell me some of your triumphs
In
in
with hand
reading?
analysis,
The aha moments from some of your clients.
oh my goodness. I had one go from being broke to six figures within 6 months. So that's the short version. I've had people who were miserable in their jobs, miserable in just one is coming to mind, miserable in her job, wanting to figure out what else to do. I'm also a purpose coach, a law of attraction coach, and a spiritual life coach, and those all come into play. I don't just follow one avenue, it's all 360. So with the work we were doing on everything else, in addition to finding her ideal work, she started loving her job again.
Wow.
So, and didn't want to leave, which is, we don't want to jump off the cliff if we don't have to,
Mm-mm.
right? I've had people do change careers and absolutely love their lives and feel so fulfilled. And that's what my little tagline is. I help people love their lives and love their work.
Yes, I love that purpose whisper because
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of people these days are looking for their purpose. They want to find jobs that, especially now after going through
Yeah.
these crises
Yeah.
of COVID and the unrest, people really understand life is fleeting and precious, and finding the reason that we're here and bringing joy into our lives, I think is never more important than it is right now.
That's exactly right, Michelle. I mean, really, the world is being called to step up. And most people, more than half, are not on purpose. They're not living in alignment with their purpose. That's why so many people don't like their jobs or they're unhappy in some aspect of their life. And this not only identifies purpose, it identifies the special gifts you have to help you fulfill your purpose. And very importantly, the blind spots that are tripping us up, where to take action. That is, the actionable part of scientific hand analysis that is so powerful, because when we work on those blind spots, which by the way are not so blind, it changes everything.
Do you remember what yours were?
Oh, there's dozens. Some of the ones that I see most often are like fear of rejection, self-worth
Yes.
challenges,
Yes. Yes.
not owning our power, giving our power away,
Yeah.
not speaking up. There's there's dozens and dozens of possibilities.
Can you lift your hand to the camera and just give us, those watching, just some clues to learn a little bit about ourselves, like what we might find in our hands? For instance, these three lines. What can you
Yeah,
tell us about those? Most people have, if everyone watching this can look at your own palm, most have the three lines, right?
most have the three lines, not everybody though. The uppermost horizontal line can
Yes.
be short, it can be long, it can be straight, it can be curved, but that is the heart line. And that indicates our relationship style, any kind of relationship, how we communicate in relationship, how we express love and affection,
You
how
mentioned,
we want love and affection
you mentioned
expressed.
yours stops. I think it was yours specifically that stopped at the middle finger like mine does. Does that mean anything in specific? Or does it actually, if you look much, much closer, would it go all the way to the end?
Well, mine has changed since I started doing this work. So that's, everything in the hands can change except the
Wow.
fingerprints. And we get a lot of information from the fingerprints, but anything else in the hands can change. And when the heart line stops underneath or just past the middle finger,
Mm-hmm.
it's called a hermit or an earth line. It's somebody who keeps their deepest feelings close in until they trust. They can be very loyal. Their alone time is critical, not just enjoyable. It's very important.
Yeah.
They need a lot of freedom. Everything has a master and student path, and nobody can be master path on anything 100% of the time. So master path of the hermit heart line is high integrity, high reliability, They can be romantic, not so mushy. Favorite way of communicating love and affection in any kind of relationship is doing things, acts of service.
Nice.
And the primary student path is trust issues, especially when somebody doesn't do what they said they were going to do.
When you say student path, does that typically mean that's when you're not at top form? That's when you're not,
That's right.
whatever is in your hand, whatever gift or information, when you're not using it like a master? It means it's an area where you need to do some work, right?
That's right. And that's the blind spots that I was talking about. And every marking has both master and student path. And the goal is to be on the master path as much as possible. But again, nobody can 100%, or we'd be evolved and off the earth, right? Off the planet.
Right. What would be the point?
But mine has, since I started this work, grown from a hermit to go all the way to the index finger,
Wow.
which is called a big heart. And the primary energy of a big heart is helping others. Well, that's all I do all day long. So my hands have changed and reflected that. I still have a lot of hermit energy. I re-energize being alone, as opposed to being around other people. I love people, love socializing, but then I need to just come back and chill. Anyway, so that's it. That's an idea of a couple of the different heart lines. There's only 4 possible.
And you said, and I was going to say you said several times, but that could be because I've read your book twice. This is not predictive. It's not.
No, it's not.
Reading palms. You are literally following the science of the nature of the human, which we've learned is readable in the lines of the hand. What can people who are watching this, if they're looking at their hands right now, what can they learn about themselves simply by something easy to define?
That heart line, how long that top horizontal line goes. So you've learned the short one is a hermit. If it goes all the way to the index or just inside, it's a big heart. It's about helping others. You have to be careful about overgiving or not receiving. That's another student path energy. There's also one that has a real dramatic curve, and they always start under the pinky, by the way, has a real dramatic curve and comes up just inside the middle finger. And that's a passionate, and that's somebody who's really passionate about life and a lot of fun, usually the life of the party, but they want what they want, damn it, and they want it now. And on the master path, they model for others how to ask for what they want, because people need to do that. And then the 4th heart line is relatively straight, but it goes, it has to go at least halfway past the midpoint between the middle and the index. So it would come across like that, and some go all the way across. And that's a romantic idealist. Somebody who's in their head a lot about their emotions and relationships and feelings and like to figure them out and analyze them.
Is there anything in our hands that can indicate how long we're meant to live? Good.
Nope, there is a lifeline, but there is no predictions with this, other than, I don't care how good your life is now, if you take action on what's in the hands, it will only get better. Because what's here is your design. This is the easiest and most joyful way to approach life, is through your hands. But the lifeline is the kind of curved line that's above your thumb and goes around that fleshy base.
This one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it's short, it doesn't mean you're going to have a short life. It just means you have shiny object syndrome.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, tell me how you work. You do seminars and you do counseling. In fact, we were talking, when you have a client, you do a session, you send them something, they can send you their prints, and then you do a couple hours worth of phone calls of counseling and guidance, correct?
Well, so some people come right into coaching, and then hand analysis is part of it. But normally, like at a speaking engagement or whatever referral, I get a lot of people referred. Then, and I work remotely. That's such a good question, Michelle. So I have clients all over the world. I've been using Zoom long before COVID, actually for about 5 years. Okay. And so nobody has to commute anywhere. I use hand prints to work from. And
I see behind you, that's lovely wall decoration.
Thank you. Yeah, people send me hands. Yeah, so which is kind of nice, but which is not kind of nice. It's very nice. And I use hand prints like this to work from, and you can see all the little detail that I can see.
Yes.
So, and then they get an hour for the actual analysis, and then another hour a week or two later for questions, because they will hear more and different on the recording than they do sitting there live, because there's so much information. It's
Wow.
just a lot of stuff coming at them. So
Fascinating.
yeah, it's cool. This is my book, Twists, Turns, and Truths.
Twists, Turns, and Truth. It's a wonderful book. And, you know, you tell the story about your love of horses. You talk about your childhood, family issues. It's really, it's a comprehensive way. And then you say, and this is where it showed up in my hands. And I just found it
Yeah.
so interesting and
Oh,
helpful.
good.
So
Thank
that's on
you.
Amazon for those of
It's
you who
very vulnerable, isn't it? It's like we got on this call, you guys who are listening, and Michelle goes, I feel like I really know you. And I'm like, yeah, if
yeah.
you read that book, you're going to know most of my secrets.
And the horses are just, the horse stories are heartbreakingly beautiful. Your connection to those
Such an important part of my life.
touches my soul.
Yeah.
How do you get people's prints, by the way?
I send them a handprint kit.
Oh,
And it's just ink sheets, and you just follow the instructions. And there's a video on my website. The instructions are really long. They're not difficult. It's just they're detailed for the instruction impaired. But the video helps show it. Yeah, I know people like, I don't want to read that. I'm like,
well,
okay, well then go
this
for
is,
it.
this has been fascinating. I loved your story. I loved your book. And I hope someday soon to have you do my analysis. So
That would be awesome. Michelle, thank you for having me.
it's an absolute pleasure,
I
Jayne.
really appreciate it.